Hare Krishna. It's up a little loud. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Giri Vardhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha Giri Vardhari. Gopijana Vallabha Giri Vardhari. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Girari Radha Girari Radhe. Jaya Radha Girari Radha Girari Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishpad Paramhamsa Prabhujakacharya Ashottara Sata Shishimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON BBT founder Charya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishpad Paramhamsa Prabhujakacharya Ashottara Sata Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Samaveda Gora Bhakta Vrinda ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're getting to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 32, Entanglement in Fruitive Activities, Text 21. Tataste Shina Sukrita Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vishvashadevai Sadyo Vibramsitodaya Tataste Shina Sukrita Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vivashadevai Sadyo Vibramsitodaya Tataste Shina Sukrita Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vivashadevai Sadyo Vibramsitodaya Tataste Shina Sukritaha Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vivashadevai Sadyo Vibramsitodaya Tataste Shina Sukritaha Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vivashadevai Patanti Gopiyai Tataste Shina Sukrita Punarlokam Imam Sati Patanti Vivashadevai Sadyo Vibramsitodaya Tataha then Te they Shina exhausted Sukritaha results of their pious activities Puna again Lokam Imam to this planet Sati O virtuous mother Patanti fall Vivasha helpless Devai by higher arrangement Sadhya suddenly Vibramshita caused to fall Udaya their prosperity. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, along with a wonderful purport. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. So they, in this sentence, is the materialistic persons we've been hearing about in the last 5-6 verses. So please repeat. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down by higher arrangement and again come back to this planet. Just as any person raised to a high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. Purport. It is sometimes found that a person elevated to a very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden. No one can check him. Similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person, I'll start that sentence over again. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of an ordinary person attracted to fruitive activities is that when a devotee is elevated to the spiritual kingdom, he never falls down, whereas an ordinary person falls, even if he's elevated to the highest planetary system, Brahmaloka. It's confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma, Bhuvana Loka, that even if one is elevated to a higher planet, he has to come down again. But Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita 8:16, Mamapeti Konteya Punarjanma Navidyate. Anyone who attains my abode never comes back to this conditioned life of material existence. If we could say our prayers together, hoping for a little mercy. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Siyata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sayitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shakhan Vitam Sha Hey Krishna Karana Sindho Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Do we do Prabhupada or Vanchakalpa next? Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nama om vishnu padaya krishna prestaya bhutale srimate bhakti vedanta swaminiti namane namaste saraswati deve gauravani pracharane nivishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there was one other divine personality whose appearance day it is today. I looked on the calendar in the Pujari room, and it's also Janava Mata's appearance day, the eternal consort of Lord Nityananda. For those who weren't here and didn't hear announcements, it's also the appearance day of Mother Sita, Sita Devi, the consort, eternal consort of Lord Ramachandra, and it's the disappearance day of Madhu Pandit Prabhu. So I won't give as much time on the class and purport, or the verse and purport as normal, because I'll try and squeeze in a little nectar on the divine personalities. Last 7 verses we've been hearing about the unfortunate lot of these materialistic persons. We say unfortunate because they're simply absorbed in the excitement of the Ferris wheel going up, around, coming down, up and down in the cycle of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. They hear about the heavenly planets and they're quite attractive sounding. You don't get diseased. I wouldn't mind that with the lower back acting up the way it is these days. You don't get old. It's hilarious to hear Chatur say, wow, you look great. Yeah, really? What do you expect out of an old, aging body? No need to elaborate on that. But these materialistic people being described in the last 7 verses are so much more elevated than the folks that we see outside the door and everywhere. These verses are describing the plight of karmis, those who follow Vedic injunctions. They may not realize what the purpose of the Vedas are, but meaning love of Godhead or liberation in the minimum. But at least they are thinking of the next life what takes place in the next life. And unless they meet a pure devotee, what do we expect? But they've heard Shastra from those who are attached to the body and the comforts and pleasures of the body. So most of the Vedas deal with those aspects of life in this world. So what's to be expected? But the lot we come from and the folks we're surrounded by, simply two-legged animals. Everything is sinful. Everything. There's nobody going back to the heavenly planets anymore. That's a pipe dream, practically without exception. Prabhupada would often say they're all becoming cats and dogs. That's another way of saying they're losing the human form of life. They're going to the hellish planets to get trained up how to suffer in the way in which they think they would be enjoying. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Same old chewing the chewed. Any species of life, same pleasures, again and again, just a little variety, a little spice this way or that way. Such an unfortunate lot. Yet somehow or other in this day and age, this is when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy descends on the most unqualified, the most fallen. That's our only claim to credit, that we're in the right place at the right time, and somehow or other we haven't run away from the mercy that Lord Chaitanya and his followers are offering. So, very important aspect of however great it may be, even in Lord Brahma's planet, there's no aging per se as we know it. I mean, even in the heavenly planets, Lord Indra, he remains, you're going to have to try harder, he remains youthful right up until the last day of his reign of the heavenly kingdoms. I heard Bhakti Vidyapurna Swami say, since nobody grows old there, how do you know when your pious credits are about to be extinguished, whereby the floor falls out?
There's an app for that.
Huh?
There's an app for that.
Oh, to tell them?
No.
King Indra, his garland, it doesn't fade. After a couple of days, this garland's going to look faded. And you might even hesitate wearing it, thinking, that doesn't look nice enough. It's Mahaprasadam, but still, it fades. In the heavenly planets, on the last day of his reign, he looks down and he notices, oh my goodness, my garland's starting to fade. And right when he notices it, here comes the new Indra coming in to take over the post. Just like that. So these things, living on the moon planet, what is it, 6 months for 12 hours of their day. Certainly extends life. The pleasures are much more sophisticated. Attractive if you don't hear about the downside of it. Even in the heavenly planets, we've got the miseries of adibhotika. The demons are always trying their best. I'm not satisfied with my lot. Let's get upstairs where it's a higher standard of enjoyment. And that goes on. And, it's just not as pronounced, I suppose we can say. We can give credit where credit's due. Primarily, predominantly, they're enjoying pleasures of the body and mind. Mode of goodness, where one actually has a chance of enjoying what the material world has to offer best you can. So the downside is that you have to fall down. And it's not that you just fall down from the heaven planets and then become a human again. It just falls down to this planet. First you have to take birth in the rain. You fall down onto the earth planet through rain. And then you fall down into the earth. And you take birth as some seed, some plant, some grain, some types of food stuff. And then the soul is eaten from that food stuff, and is transferred into the semen of the man, and then the soul gets transferred into the womb of a woman. So in several different stages, the soul is having to go through all these changes. Not like, I fall down from heaven, then I take it up again. No. There's suffering involved in the, in the interim. So, this is not what we're looking for. Being eternal by nature, we're looking for eternal happiness. And that's what we take satisfaction in. in the Bhagavad Gita. You know, this verse that begins with, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, Brahma, Bhuvana, Loka, Punar, Varta, and Arjuna. They're places of, misery and repeated birth and death. I have a friend taking cruises and going to different countries around the world, Spain, Portugal, etc., and some really cool photographs of different things and places. But I wonder sometimes, does my friend realize that the same birth and the same disease and the same old age, the same miseries that you're trying to leave behind, forget in your hometown, that those aren't also all pervasive? Or instead, are we seeing just the curtain, the glitter, the illusion that, hey, this is nice. I'm enjoying in my retirement. So if that is the case, then, we need to hear and we need to chant more seriously. We need to pray for the mercy of the pure devotees, Srila Prabhupada, that we can have our eyes open, that no matter where you go, from Brahmaloka to any subterranean heavenly planet or even lower, they're all places of misery. The reality of it is there is no happiness in the material world outside of Krishna consciousness. There isn't. What's taken as happiness is simply a short spurt of abatement of the miseries of life. Just a little holding at bay the miseries, but constantly these things are nagging, biting at the conditioned soul. Appropriately so, because Krishna wants to wake us up. Become serious that we don't belong to this material world. We deserve so much better than what this material world has to offer. And that, of course, is the devotional service of the Lord. And as Krishna says, Mamupetya punarjanma dukalayam shashtam napnumvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatim. Once you attain me, once you come back home, back to Godhead, in principle, you never come back. Srila Prabhupada makes it clear, putting a footnote to that. If you want to, you can. Your independence is always there, and how do we take the detour the first time around? Misuse of independence, and if you want, you could do it again. It's not that Krishna forces us to stay in the spiritual world, but basically the greatest majority of living entities who have taken a tour of this material world, they faintly have that impression of a vague memory that, ooh, I don't want to turn my back to Krishna. I want to lovingly serve Krishna. And so they never misuse their independence again. Therefore, Krishna says the words, never to return again. And this isn't some static, stale, ever linear experience of happiness. That's what we could describe the Brahman as. You get to Brahman, you experience eternality, and that's it. It's a plateau. It doesn't get any better or any higher. It's changeless. You simply have eternality and the absence of material suffering. In the spiritual world, the dynamic, positive engagements, variegated engagements of loving reciprocation with Krishna, it's ever increasing exponentially. Loving devotional service in union and separation, constantly jacking up the standard of happiness again, 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 again. Not an iota, not a speck of material unhappiness in that reality. It doesn't exist. It's only transcendental variety of loving exchanges, which may appear to be unhappiness or other things of this world, but are just as different as night and day is. Because all these emotions and these experiences and the loving transactions with Krishna and his devotees and the devotees and Krishna simply increase each other's love. That's what we're looking for. That's how we'll become satisfied ever increasingly. So, we want to get the mercy of the Param Vaishnavas to be given an invitation to go there. We can't storm the gates of the spiritual kingdom on our own. It's not by our endeavor alone that we get service to Krishna, understanding of the inconceivable subject matter of the science of Godhead. No, it's by the mercy of the Lord and the mercy of the devotees. Srila Prabhupada, I've said this often, but it's so appropriate. The most important verse that, when asked, Srila Prabhupada told one devotee, Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir Yata Deve Tatagaro Tasyaite Katatayarta Prakashanta Mahatmana. Under those fortunate devotees, sincere souls who have implicit faith, full, complete, unswerving faith in both gurus and Krishna, then all transcendental knowledge is revealed. So to get the mercy of the devotees in Krishna, that's the only way in which we're going to have some inkling of an understanding of the gift that's right there in front of us, right here, ready to be taken advantage of. So we pray for the divine mercy of these exalted personalities. Let's start off with Mother Sita. She's the eternal consort of the Lord. There's one verse in the 9th canto of srimadbhagavatam where it says, when Lord Ram entered the forest and Lakshman was also absent, the worst of the Rakshasas, Ravana, kidnapped Sita Devi, the daughter of the king Videha, just as a tiger seizes unprotected sheep when the shepherd's absent. Then Lord Ramachandra wandered in the forest with his brother Lakshman as if very much distressed due to separation from his wife. Thus he showed by his personal example the condition of a person attached to women. And in the purport Srila Prabhupada gives, and also in the 2nd canto, if I'm not mistaken, the same idea is given where two sides of the coin for lessons from Lord Ram's and Sita's Leela. That is, those who take on the responsibility of associating with, marrying a woman and raising a family, etc., you're asking for a lot of headache. Life on its own, just taking care of yourself, is difficult enough, but then when you add responsibility for another person, and another person, and another person as the family expands, it's a lot of responsibility. And if looked at materially, it's suffering. But in Krishna consciousness, or even according to these karmis that we've heard in the last 6, 7 verses, duty is performed despite its challenges and the suffering that can be involved in performing one's duty. You put duty above and beyond or in front of your own personal satisfaction. That's an essential point of Vedic culture. Duty comes first. That's what is pronounced in this world. I, me, mine. I, the big dog on top of the hill, etc. But in Vedic culture, for civilized human beings, no, it's service. It's duties and responsibility. And Lord Ramachandra set the perfect example, even though it appeared that he suffered like anything because his wife was kidnapped, for goodness sake. Kidnapped. You hear about terrorism and this and that, or child abductions, and who can imagine the pain of the mate or the parents, etc. Intense. Horrible. And the Leela unfolds in that way. But the spiritual side of it, that's what we have to understand. And this will relate to both Chandava, Madhu Pandit, and of course Mother Sita. Here it said, of course this is the material side of Sri Sangi, but the situation of Lord Ramachandra is spiritual. For he does not belong to the material world, Narayana Parovyaktat. Narayan's beyond the material creation, because he's the creator of the material world. He's not subject to the conditions in the material world. The separation of Lord Ram from Sita is spiritually understood as Vipralamba, which is an activity of the Ladini potency, pleasure-giving potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, belonging to the Sringar Ras, the mellow of conjugal love in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the dealings of love, displaying the symptoms called sattvika, sanchari, vilapa, murcha, and unmada. Thus, when Lord Ramachandra was separated from Sita, all these spiritual symptoms were manifested. The Lord's neither impersonal nor impotent. Rather, he is Satchidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of knowledge and bliss. Thus, he has all the symptoms of spiritual bliss. Feeling separation from one's beloved is also an item of spiritual bliss. As explained by Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami, Radha Krishna Praniya Viviktir Ladani Shakti. The dealings of love between Radha and Krishna are displayed as the pleasure potency of the Lord. The Lord is the original source of all pleasure, the reservoir of all pleasure. Lord Ramachandra therefore manifested the truth both spiritually and materially. Materially, those who are attached to women suffer, but spiritually, when there are feelings of separation between the Lord and His pleasure potency, the spiritual bliss of the Lord increases. So, one pastime that Sita and Ram experienced in Navadvip Dham, in the island of Modadruma Dweep. Ayodhya is present in Mayapur. It's the origin of Ayodhya that's here on this planet and in the spiritual world. It is non-different from each other, but Lord Ram, when he came here, he said, "This is my favorite Dham, Mayapur." And he built a hut under a big giant banyan tree, and Lakshman and Sita were very nicely enjoying their time there. And one day, Ram had a special smile on his face, and Sita asked, "My Lord, do you mind telling me why are you smiling?" He said, "In the future, I'm going to appear in this Dham in a golden form as Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mother Kaushalya, my mother, will appear as Sachi Devi. You, Sita, will be my wife, Vishnupriya. And here in this Dham, I'll exhibit my childhood pastimes. I'll exhibit pastimes of learning or education. And giving everyone prem who comes to know me, appreciating me, attracted to me. And then I will take sannyas, and I will leave you, my wife, crying in the arms of my mother. And I will go to Jagannath Puri, expanding the Sankirtan movement, chanting of Hare Krishna." He said, "Why would you leave a chaste, wonderful wife and mother? What's the need? Why would you do that? Why would you cause them pain?" And he said, "I know you know everything. You're the mother of the universe, you're my eternal consort, but still you're asking, so I will happily respond." He said, "Only to my most fortunate devotees do I share this separation, this vipralamba. Externally it looks like great suffering, but internally it's the greatest source of happiness." He said, "Devotees always want my association. All of us should be hankering to have the association of Krishna. Just like in the Vasara ceremony where Lord Jagannath was away from our darshan for 2 weeks or what have you. You know, those who have attachment to Lord Jagannath and aren't rendering personal service to Him, they want to see the Lord. We want the service of the Lord. This is the natural outcome. If you care for somebody, you want to spend time with them. You want to please them. What to speak of those who have love for Krishna. They always want to be under the lotus feet of the Lord, serving the Lord, pleasing Him in any way, every way possible. But out of my kindness, I manifest separation. Yogamaya arranges that the two of us are separated. And this simply causes the heart of the devotee to focus on their love, and it churns the waves of their emotional love for me, their meditation on me, their intense desire to please and serve me. Greater and greater and greater. And then when we meet again, the feelings of happiness are 1,000,000 times greater than our last union. And that goes on in the spiritual world repeatedly. Union, separation, union, separation. But it's natural in Krishna Loka. In Ram Leela, it's unnatural. Sita was kidnapped by a demon. And the second time she was renounced by Lord Shiva, Lord Ram, and sent away, It was because of some low-class Shudra who was complaining, when his wife, unchaste, unfaithful wife, spent the night out at another man's home. I'm not going to accept you back in my house. I'm not like Lord Ram, some, henpecked, cockled husband. And when Ram heard that in disguise, seeing what the mood of the citizens was, it struck him like a thunderbolt, because he's Maryada Purushottama. He sets the perfect example of how to be a king, how to be a husband, how to be a father, how to be a son. In every respect, he follows the rules, the laws, the injunctions of Vedic scripture perfectly. And so he banished her again. How unnatural. Because of a low-class Shudra or a demon, the separation's there. But they do taste the separation. They do taste the ecstasy in that separation. When she first was kidnapped, he was running around like the gopis in the forest looking for Krishna. He was asking all the trees and the bushes and the animals, where's Sita? He was experiencing this unmada, this madness of love for Sita. So they understand it, they experience it to some degree, but not being satisfied in this unnatural, forced vipralamba. He desired that it unfold as it does in Krishna Lila, Lila Purushottama, Krishna, the Lord of the sweetest Leelas, as a paramour, not married. Sita, she is a consort of the Lord, but she is in Swakiya Ras. They're married, and she's aware that he's the Supreme Lord. She doesn't get the intimacy of the power that the gopis do, serving as his maidservant, with the excitement and the forbidden nature of associating with unmarried girls or associating with other men's wives. This is such a high level of loving reciprocation. It's highly intensified. The highest form of loving devotional service in the spiritual world, which when brought to this world becomes the most abominable reciprocation between men and women. Womanizers, woman hunters. Let's put the blame at the strong guys. Women are meant to be protected. Another lesson of Sita. Ram went at her bidding, go catch the deer. Lakshmana was told, don't leave her, protect her. She forced him out by her cruel insults. And he went, not being able to tolerate what she was accusing him of. And she was unprotected. Women have to be protected. Even Sita Devi, the consort of the Lord, the Leela and example is there. So, marriage restricts the level of unimpeded, expanding ecstasy in the Madhurya Ras. Now, Sita is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. She is the personification. She is, of the Ladani Shakti. Whenever the Lord desires in His Leela to, expanding Himself from Krishna on down to the other expansions of Himself, when He desires in Leela to have His eternal consort, Srimati Radharani similarly expands just as the Lord does. It all comes from Radha. And interesting correlation in Ram Leela and what we were talking about, this Madhurya Ras. Suparnarka, the sister of Ravana, who came to enjoy with Ram and Lakshman, they were teasing her mercilessly. Oh, I'm married, I can't help you, but my brother, look at him. He's quite a catch, why don't you go with him? Oh, well, I'm a slave, a servant of my brother. If you hook up with me, then you become his slave, and that doesn't seem... And they bounced her back and forth, having good fun of it. And she came to the conclusion, my problem is Sita. Let's take her out of the picture, and then I can get one of them anyway. Well, when it came to that point that she was ready to kill Sita, then Ram, the fun's over. Lakshman, dispatch her, get rid of her. He cut off her nose, her her ears, and her breasts. Seems pretty heavy. Hare Krishna. This is the Leela. Supanarka became Kubja in her next in Krishna Leela. The hunchback who wanted to serve Krishna, the sandalwood paste, offering herself as a source of enjoyment for Krishna. And Krishna was happy with her offer. He said, I am alone in a foreign city, and I would appreciate your company, but right now I'm a little busy. We'll have to wait. And we know the pastime of Kubja, you know, it's explained that she had personal desire mixed in with the desire to serve Krishna. Sounds familiar for many of us devotees. But because she wanted to serve Krishna and Krishna accepted her service, he straightened her up, you know, the transcendental chiropractic adjustment, straight, beautiful, transformed, cleansed her heart of the impurity of selfishness. And it's explained that she reached the stage of rati, just that, just the hint before prem. And she served the Lord as such. The example of the lowest stage of this rati or attraction love for Krishna in the Madhurya sense, it's like a smoke-covered fire. And then the next stage is the married queens of Dwarka and Sita. They love the Lord, there are conjugal reciprocations, but it's so respectful and so limited. They don't even get a hint of the freedom and the unrestricted surrender that the gopis have the opportunity of engaging in with Krishna. Not even close. And that level of love gets taken to the, in love of Godhead. I know these are just words for most of us, but heck, why don't we repeat them for our purification? In the process of attaining prema, we always say Krishna prem, but Krishna prem doesn't stop there. It's rati, then prem, then sneha, then mana, then pranaya. After pranaya comes raga, anuraga, bhava, mahabhava. You can look in Chaitanya Charitamrita purports. Srila Prabhupada gives the descriptions of each one of those levels of ever-increasing development of love for Krishna. And Kubja, she gets to prem. Sita, she can experience anuraga. The highest development is in Srimati Radharani and her Gopi expansions. Her closest one, certainly in Srimati Radharani, is Mahabhava. It's the summation, the pinnacle of ecstatic love for Krishna. As I said the other day, and I love repeating it, I read it in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and Narada Muni says, only Srimati Radharani understands the full extent of what love for Krishna is and what surrender and service to Krishna is. She completely captures him. She can say, Krishna is mine. And only because of Srimati Radharani's mercy can anyone and everyone else have the opportunity to give pleasure to Krishna. The Ladani Shakti, of which she is the personification of, pleases Krishna and nourishes the devotees. Krishna, he doesn't understand that love. He's the object of that love. Srimati Radharani is the ashraya, the abode, the shelter of that love. And anyone who takes shelter of the devotees of the devotee of the devotee of the devotee of Srimati Radharani, they also can be reawakened in their natural constitutional position of being a shelter, a possessor of love that can be offered to Krishna. And the only reason why we can even think or talk about these things is because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to taste it personally. When he came as Krishna, what did he say? Surrender, give up everything else. Just serve me. But he's the object of that service. He doesn't know. In fact, I'm going to put it this way. He doesn't give away love. He doesn't possess the Krishna prem. That's what the devotees have. Krishna prem and bhakti comes from the devotees of Krishna. And so he wanted to taste that. And so he came and gave us the Maha Mantra, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the other two divine personalities that Today marks their appearance and disappearance, respectively. Janavamata is the eternal consort of Lord Nityananda, and she helped Lord Nityananda expand the Sankirtan movement. She was the Acharya after the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and everyone took shelter of her. Lord Nityananda had two consorts, has two eternal consorts, Vasudha, who was the mother of, Virabhadra? And Janava was the spiritual master who gave initiation to the son Virabhadra, and to many others also. She gave shelter, and at the festival of Kaitari, she was ultimately the authority there. In Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivasacharya's festival, she was the authority, and there by Gauranga's mercy, Lord Nityananda's mercy, all the different aspects were brought together in unity, all the different flavors of service to Lord Chaitanya. Everything was set for succeeding generations. Like, we don't worship Lord Chaitanya as a sannyasi. The Goswamis of Vrindavan knew him as sannyasi, worshipped him as sannyasi in their heart. That's who they, their Ishtadev. But for the propagation of the Sankirtan movement, it was established, no, we worship Lord Chaitanya, Vishnupriya, Lord Chaitanya and his household Leela, transcendental household Leela. So all these things were established with the help of, under the supervision of Janavamata. And then Madhu Pandit, he's a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit, who is Srimati Radharani, the personification of Ladini Shakti. And any and all of the disciples of Gadadhar are gopis who have the conjugal loving relationship of service with Krishna. And Madhu Pandit is one. In the Bhakti Ratnakara, it's said that he is an ocean of, an unlimited ocean of good qualities. He's the one who established the temple of Radha Gopinath. When we say, I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra, I'm not a Brahmachari, I'm not a Grahastha, I'm not a Vanaprastha, I'm not even a sannyasi. This is what Lord Chaitanya is saying. He says, what am I? I'm the servant of the servant, the servant, the servant of Lord Krishna, the maintainer, the master of the gopis. Another way of saying that, Gopinath. Madhu Pandit established Gopinath. Gadadhar himself worshipped Gopinath, the deity of Gopinath. And Lord Chaitanya entered into the deity of Gopinath when he left the manifest pastimes of this world. Gopinath, he's who, if we are following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya, trying to understand and accept the gift that he is offering us, then Gopinath is our aspired for Lord of the heart. We start with the service of Madan Mohan to reawaken the eternal relationship with the Lord. I'm spirit soul, I'm not this body. We have Radhagir Hari here, but the mood should be, if we haven't realized that we're worshiping Radha Madan Mohan to reestablish, to reawaken the relationship. And once one has come, Mamchayo Bhavacharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatitaita Brahma Bhuyaya Kopote, the platform which none doesn't come back to this world. Once one achieves that Brahma Bhuta stage, then Bhakti really begins, Abhideya. And then Radha Govinda manifests himself. They manifest themselves to us with the goal of achieving love. This Krishna consciousness movement, let me read. One who has love can see Krishna everywhere, sees everyone in me, everything in me. I'm never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Srila Prabhupada in the purport says, Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna. That's the goal we should be reminding ourselves every day. It's not just a ritual. One should carefully avoid the 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prem. We should be reminding ourselves, not that we just, okay, we say that and then we offer obeisances, Hari Nam Ki Jai, Nam Prabhu Ki Jai, and then start chanting. No. This is what Prabhupada wants to give us. Being the servant of Lord Chaitanya is love for Krishna. When asked by one devotee, how can I please you most? He said, develop your love for Krishna. This is what we should be aspiring for. And even though we're so far below it, we're not meant to simply be absorbed in what we're not. I'm not there. Meaning I'm so fallen, I'm so conditioned, I'm so offensive, this and that. That's okay if it's encouraging you to surrender and try harder to aspire and work towards being worthy of receiving the gift of pure unalloyed service to Krishna, love for Krishna. That's the focus. Not what I am fallen, but what I want to be. Put your mind on the goal. Keep your mind in the process, which is non-different than the goal. Sadhana and sadhya, they're the same absolute. Absorbed in hearing and chanting and serving the glories of the Lord. And those glories are best understood and realized when one shares them with others. We had a wonderful opportunity sharing Krishna, devotional service, holy names yesterday. Ecstatic opportunity. And that's what our life is meant to be. Not one of, focusing on, I don't have the perfect facility, oh, this is disturbing me, this is, one should laboriously labor, work under the shelter of the spiritual masters, and thus help spread Krishna consciousness. This is the purpose of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And from now on, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Every time I say spiritual master, mercy of the spiritual master in Krishna, I'm going to start saying spiritual masters. Because I think it's time for all of us to start waking up and really becoming aware that it doesn't just mean your Diksha Guru. It means all the manifestations of Krishna's Chaita Guru, the Lord in the heart, all his manifestations, they are our gurus. And if we start understanding that reality, as stated by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, then we're going to start making more rapid advancement. And then we won't feel the pain of separation. How would you say, oh, I never get to see my guru. What are you talking about? You hear from your guru every day. You're just thinking it means diksha. Guru means gurus. Vandeham Sri Guru, Sriyuta Padakamalam, Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Guru is the divine grace of Lord Nityananda, of Lord Krishna. And he can manifest anywhere and everywhere. Until we have love, we're not going to see Krishna in everything and in everyone. But now in practice of devotional service, we can begin to see Guru in everyone and everything. That is accomplishable. When we say this prayer to Srila Prabhupada every day, what's the first sentence in the translation? The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. Prabhupada didn't do things happenstance. Everything has a purpose. He wants everyone in Guru Puja every day meditating on what they're doing and offering flowers and respects. You're being encouraged to realize that you should be offering your life to him. And through him, he can manifest through all his followers. He can manifest in his transcendental literatures. He can manifest in everyone. Jamuna quoted one of his co-workers, a karmi, quote unquote. He said, well, I know I'm not my mind. Why is that? Because it doesn't do what I want it to do. If it was me, it'd do what I want it to do. If that's not Prabhupada talking, I don't know what is. Perfect example, perfect realization. In everyone we can directly and indirectly see Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy manifest. And big subject, time is now coming to an end for the class. But I just want to preface, from now on I'm going to start saying gurus. Even in Tadvidi Pranipatena verse, Dravida Prabhu told me that it has the singular use of guru, and the gurus, plural use, will thus share transcendental knowledge with us. Both are there. It's the complete package of the divine grace, the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Krishna. So that's what we're hoping for. Madhu Pandit, not much to read about him. Janava, more. Sita, lot more. But these are divine personalities who are present in their sound vibration, in their glorification, in their memory, and we should be praying to them. You have Krishna. You have Ram. We may not want to go to a yoga and serve Ram eternally, but they have the ability to bless us, to give us Krishna Bhakti. Their devotees get it. Hanuman, Ram Bhakta Deluxe, Param Bhakta, perfection of Das, perfection through service to Krishna. He's a Gauranga Bhakta. Murari Gupta, boy, we could talk about his glories. So it's being offered to all of us. The mercy is there, and this gives us an opportunity to think about it, to aspire for it. Keep the goal, keep the aspiration alive and ever growing. Keep fanning it in each other's association. So are there any questions or comments? Bhakta Jamal.
Well, I have quite a few questions, but I'll ask some
Okay.
But one of them was, well, it was kind of sparked in the beginning of the lecture. So when I don't know if this is spoken of in Shastra at all, but when we return to the spiritual world from being here, it doesn't compromise our relationship with Krishna at all? Like, out of us having even to come here?
No, not at all. Not at all. Doesn't even compromise your being a devotee here in this world. When the Guru, and then in that sense, I'm going to use it in the absolute sense, when the Param Vaishnavas doing the service on behalf of Krishna look at us, they don't look at the baggage, they don't look at the disqualifications. They see us as spirit soul, the eternal servant of Krishna. And they simply give us service and encourage us to desire more and more service. Lord Chaitanya, when he delivered Jagai and Madai, he said, I'm accepting all the sins, the reactions of all the sins they performed. And not one of you should ever criticize or think of them in relationship to their past. And he took on a blackish form when all the sin was assimilated within him. And then in discharging it, he said, I'm putting the sinful reactions of Jagai and Madai and all the offenders, criticizers, and blasphemers of the devotees. A very strong warning for us. You know, more and more I'm aspiring to become afraid of offending my Prabhus. It's so detrimental to, you know, this aspiration of wanting pure, unalloyed devotional service. What to speak of love for Krishna. You know, as long as we're wallowing in the misconception, in the illusion that I'm some special devotee or better than anybody else, then that desire remains a pipe dream, and it's very conducive for pointing out the faults of the other devotees. We have to become afraid of Maya. And that's a big tool of Maya. Maya can't stop us in devotional service. But offenses in Krishna consciousness, that can really put the brakes on, slam them on. Krishna is much more powerful. Devotional service is much more powerful than Maya. And if we take shelter of Bhakti and Krishna and his devotees, then we're safe. And they set the example. They don't want to hear it, they don't want to speak it, they don't even want to think it. Does that... Anybody else? We'll do it at breakfast. I'm just going to say this. Is anybody missing out on service besides Dravida because I went over the 15 minutes? I asked the temple commander. Seriously? Honestly? Not really, is it? So just in justification, Mayapur English class is always 45 minutes, almost without exception. 9:45, you have the little sign there. Please wrap it up, questions and answers by 9:45, because the brahmacharis want to take their breakfast. They come in and they fold up the sheets and the mats and what have you, take the bhagavatam. So 9:45, we don't want to starve here. But Russian class never ends shorter than an hour. Those devotees like to hear. If I'm keeping you from service, then please immediately get up and don't let me be the offender. Do like Dravida Prabhu. But otherwise, if I'm boring you or putting you to sleep, then go ahead and say, Raj, can we cut it down? But otherwise, hopefully there's validity in the time spent of hearing, chanting, and meditating on this treasure that Srila Prabhupada is sharing with us. Thank you, Prabhus. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.